Okay, Abusia, I speaker Bagbin, the lawyer, your friend Thaddeus, sorry. Finally, we're about to break silence on a year removal of a year former Chief Justice Torkorno Abusia enye asam keto akra na Ghana Web 4 day and sembinin some of the betu jana no and ya project say ede ato ye screen no enchen ede amama no say Thaddeus Sory weighs in on Mahama dismissal of a Chief Justice Torkorno, former Chief Justice Torkorno oko Thaddeus Sory ni page nso ade odi ababeto ni judicial independence or judicial impunity na abusia osteti ensem bebre anensema osteti no o say sankofo a omowo abonte ana omo kasa the lives of NPP minority for ene Ghana Bar Association for na omo ba abonte a chese na omo fight President Mahama ne 5-member committee omo make inquiry investigations on allegations on former Chief Justice Torkorno or say omo mo bia into me engine say say omo raise concern and say omo based on facts say removal process na ye former Chief Justice Torkorno no omo be to me den the proper evidence be no dey back among some omo kan obi bia no obusa omo am ready and some or dey etu jana so one the Chief Justice has been removed from office. This is a subject to any rights she may legitimately assert at law against her removal. I acknowledge that. 2. The earlier nuances about her removal process being contrary to the law have evaporated because none of its proponents was harnessed enough to fight this case on behalf of the elsewhere Chief Justice. I am talking about the bodies and association which raised those questions. 3. As it is over, I am just rethinking the whole process and the noises that accompanied it. Let's start with some Q&A to put matters in context. 4. Q. Can the Chief Justice be removed from office? And on what about? Say yes, of course. This is clear from the combined provisions of Article 146 Clause 6 to 10. Abusuya papano nensema o kano enu bi NHS ye ready edi amam nintino sha based on nensema o kenyina no process na ye de former Chief Justice Torkorno FM no ne kwan so ana HSA abusuya ye de former Chief Justice Torkorno FM asisi Thaddeus Sory aba be sa ensem we aba be to HSA one make those ana it is a NPP minority ana omo fight President Mahama na as petitioners no say enam ne kwan so ena it is a or the remove no abusuya wa rubbish sankofo ni na omo make useless asan so drop expose against former Chief Justice Torkorno ya beda masem mo yanko na yankonkoti ensem bia empanyfo ne bi editu dwa abusuya enya asem keso akwa mo yanko na yankonkoti medamase.
You see, okay, when it is wrong, it is wrong. When it is right, it is right. You mentioned the audit report.
Yes.
She was dodging it. I worked in the public service. Once there's an audit report on a matter and it is not dealt with, it will come back and get you. Because this issue we're talking about, once it appeared in an audit report, what actually happened? This morning when I was coming, I was telling myself that I think that we should get the full details of what happened at the committee. That's why they arrived at the decision they arrived at.
Yeah.
Because the speculation is getting too much. We have a constitution, unless the MPP is saying that they don't believe in this 1992 constitution. 1992 constitution from Article 6 to 10 gives you how a Chief Justice will be removed. But you see, if Ati is going back to when 80s, when there was a coup, then me too, I'll go back to 66, when my auntie was killed because my father was a minister.
Oh, really?
I mean, that, then we go back to 66, the CPP and the UP tradition. If you are going back into history, we talk about how Kobodu's sister was killed. We'll go back into all that. You get me? We all have history. But there are times this nation has moved forward. And once the nation has moved forward, because everybody has a certain kind of history that has brought us thus far. When you go into the US, the European history, there were wars, there were revolutions, and now they are where they are. So if Ati and her people and her assigned, they want to go back into history, then we'll also go back into history. You see, the point is that the Constitution is here. We have used the Constitution to go through a process. And once that is it, I think that we should all let it be. But the MPP will not let it be. I am surprised. This woman, is she MPP?
Why do you say so?
You asked Ivan a question and he did not answer. You asked that we've brought politics into this. It is the woman who brought politics. Do you know that it is the woman herself who politicized the whole thing? Because the MPP went on demonstration. Look at Fati defended. Is it her business?
Well, she's concerned about the law.
No, I am saying that is it her business to? All of them are defending this woman. I want to find out, is she MPP? Because the evidence on the ground is that MPP is going on a campaign to defend this woman and chide government for doing this. It is not even government who has done this. A petition was brought by a citizen. There were 3 petitions, I guess. Only one had veracity. One. And that is what they used. Fatih speaks and forgets about the audit report. That is key.
You've heard from the likes of the former Chief Justice, Sophia Akuffo, who says, well, you haven't met the threshold. And she's not the only one there.
Is there a threshold for crime? I never knew that it would come from her. She's my mother. I like her. She's looking good. The Council of State is doing her well. But is there a threshold for crime? Some people steal goat and they are given 15 years. Goat. Somebody goes on a farm hungry and steals plantain. They are not giving community sentence. They are jailed. Go to Nsawam prisons. I deal with the prisons a lot. Go to Kumasi, go everywhere. The young ones. People like my children here, my young ones here, their age, younger than them, they are in prison. And when you ask them, somebody stole plantain, so there's a threshold for crime. She's not saying that nothing has happened, though. She's not saying that the person is totally innocent. She said threshold. Do you get me?
Don't you feel there's a gap in the law when we say stated misbehavior? It's something that can be taken advantage of. Don't you feel that's what the problem is?
Once it's there, till we haven't taken it out. There are things in this constitution that has to be looked at. For instance, I was talking to somebody and we all agreed that the majority of ministers coming from parliament is problematic. You get me?
So the constitution has some...
Yeah, it has to be looked at. But I am
she's
saying
not
that,
giving... Oh, okay, right.
But I am saying that as it stands now, this is what has happened. So for anybody to conjecture that, the MDC made up their mind to remove her, she herself hasn't helped herself. The politics and the drama she herself brought around it did not help her case. Now I've heard she's in some court.
Yes, I was just going to point to that. The ECOWAS court.
Yes, that's her human rights has been violated.
10 million US.
What human rights is that? I never knew. I've always said that maybe she's one of the jewels we haven't discovered. Maybe she's... I don't understand. Why is she saying that her human... What was done to her? She shouted on somebody, Thaddeus, sorry, in court, openly. During the parliament issue, she shouted on Thaddeus, sorry, openly. And she herself said that no matter how you squirm your face, no matter how you twist your lips, no matter how you bat your eyelids, no matter how you turn your eyebrows, the law is the law. It came from her. And the face, the gestures that she made showed that, yes, the law is the law. So now if you have used the law, what is wrong with it? Once the law, nobody just said that, I have written a letter, you are sacked. You went through the process and you see sometimes...
But with how fast the president acted on the reports, is it not a bit...
Was it fast?
No, I mean in terms of the moment it was presented, hours after, the announcement was made that...
No, but the Constitution, does it give time? Well, the Constitution does not tell you what kind of petition you should look at. It is not there. So once it is not there, whatever petitions come to you, you have to pass it on. So you think that the president has something in mind, so he was waiting for it to act fast? I do not think so.
Now, deal with this for me, then I bring in the audience. How true is the speculation? How true is the speculation? How true is the speculation that with what's happening now, your next target is the Electoral Commission? Some say, well, from here, you're moving to some other...
I don't know about that one, but this is what I know. But this is what I am talking about.
The chairperson of the NDC has said that. He says, well, all of them will go.
He said that?
Yes.
I didn't hear him say, I cannot that. I did not hear him say this. No, this is the first. I don't know the basis, the context in which he said it. Do you get me?
You didn't hear that?
No, it's true. I didn't hear the context. Maybe he was saying something, and within that context, he made a comment. So it would be very unfair for me to say yes or no. Do you get
so you want to go and watch the video and tell us later? So
you see, that's what I'm saying, that we should try and stop the speculation. And one thing that also worries me is the fact that on this committee are very credible and men of integrity. Maybe I didn't speak the English well. On this committee are men of integrity and men who are credible. Do you get me? My professor is there, Jisa. Jisa taught me. You cannot tell me under any circumstance that Jisa is not a credible person. Domlevo, if you engage Domlevo, if you engage him, the man is straight. Justice Palman. There's another judge there. There's even a major. So are you telling me that all these people sat and they all agree that this is it? Especially Domlevo will tell you as it is. Domlevo has gone through the process. He was removed. He went through court and he was acquitted. And now he's here. So are you telling me that you don't even respect those? You see, the life of the NPP in this country is very, very troublesome. It's very, very, very problematic because everything they would make sure that they make some politics out of it. They should rather think about how to build their party. Their party is now in crisis and in tatters. Okay. It is time for them to build it. But Dean, I want to tell you, sir, he's called Dean, eh? You're Dean. Kamal Dean. Yeah. Okay. You know what? You talked about visa fees. You were saying about visa fees. But you know there was a time that a foreign minister went out to say that the visa fees were too high.
I think this whole process is not a novelty. It's not as if this is the first time this particular provision has been activated. And I think playing the female card in this instance will not wash because the last time I checked, Charlotte Osei wasn't a man. You understand? I'm not seeking to do retroactive justification, but the fact is that Charlotte Osei went through the same process and then she was removed. You see, on the travel policy, this is not a travel policy for Bank of Ghana or any other institution. It is for the judiciary. So if there should be anyone who should have much understanding, it should be the Chief Justice, who is the administrative head of the judiciary.
There's an interesting point for TV, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention. That, look, it's not conclusive, right? Because it will go through a process, the infractions will be raised at Public Accounts Committee, and then a final report is issued.
Yes.
So, in that case, you are concluding just at the auditing infraction level?
If we use just the report as a basis for her removal without getting the opportunity to meet a committee, she met a committee. There was a former AG in the committee. She went there with her lawyers. She had a day with the committee. She probably...
but I'm not talking about the committee. I'm talking about what Fatih is saying. About the audit findings. It's not conclusive.
Yes, but see, that audit finding not being conclusive, details of it was espoused at the committee level.
And because there was a former auditor general.
Because a former auditor general is there. The woman had actually gone there to state the same thing Madam Fatih said. And the details might have been espoused there. You understand? So that is not an argument. Again, traveling with the security, it's something that cannot be waived. The Chief Justice is supposed to travel with the security, just like the President. President Mahama cannot just wake up and say, I'm going to Tamale and I'm going alone. I watched an interview that George Bush granted. He said the thing he likes doing most is driving. But the Secret Service told him, hey, you cannot drive. You understand? And so sometimes the security implications, because some of these individuals walking comes with some level of security risk. You understand? You are not alone.
Yes.
The security implications are quite obvious. So you cannot just travel alone. I mean, my argument has always been that, you see, if you look at the judiciary, before this whole thing, wasn't the fact that the judiciary of this country became a subject of public mortification on various social media platforms? Was it? It became an article of ridicule on various platforms. Instances where rulings were coming from the Supreme Court and people were subjecting it to some kind of ridicule. You had a famous unanimous that tells you that public trust and confidence in this institution were low. You understand? It got to a time we had a failed parliamentary candidate who was actually handpicked and put on the Supreme Court. Yes, qualification, he has all the qualifications, but you see, we are doing politics. We are not dealing with animals or some kind of robot, people with emotions. When you do some of these things, you rob integrity from the very institution you are seeking to protect.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the first time, is it? I think there's one justice who used to be with the, PNC or so. He used to be the
so you see, I'm telling you that, you see,
he used to be. So
yes,
it's not the first.
No, I understand, but you see, our politics has evolved. Yeah. We are growing as a country. Yeah. There are certain things that were done in the past, but doesn't mean that we can play the same cards here, because we know the kind of acrimonious politics that we do with this NDC, MPP. Anybody with known ties to these political parties, handpicking such an individual and put him on such a sensitive institution would discredit the institution. Because in one of the instances, I listened to lawyer Thaddeus Sory, who raised an objection that justice should be removed from the bench because of his political past.
Yes, showing the ruling.
The Chief Justice brushed that particular. You see, the point that he raised, there were other side of it that people didn't pay much attention to, especially at the time the judiciary appeared to have gotten so dirty in the eyes of the public. We need to do something to sanitize. Doesn't mean that we have to sacrifice the Chief Justice, because for me, the Chief Justice is just a small part, a small piece of the larger puzzle that we are seeking to unravel. And for me, sanitizing the judiciary is the ultimate. And I'm urging President Mahama, removing the Chief Justice with this, that should be the starting point. Because for me, we need to be very effective and make sure.
So you want more people to go?
Oh, no, Sanitizing judiciary doesn't mean removing people. Don't misquote me. Sanitizing the judiciary doesn't mean removing people. What I mean is that what I'm trying to point out is that in the eyes of the public, the public confidence and trust isn't there. So the president must do everything just to ensure that confidence once again return to this institution. You understand? Because
the round
and then before we go. Okay, right.
Yes, we need to build public trust and confidence in these institutions, that the Ghanaian will feel comfortable. Hey, because over the years, if you look at the legislature, it's partisan football. It depends where you stand across the political divide. If you come to the executive, depending on who is in power, sometimes a lot of things happen. If there is an institution we cannot afford to lose its fidelity, neutrality, independence, that should be the judiciary. The judiciary should be espousing integrity at the highest level, and that should not be compromised. So any signs contrary to that, I think the state has a responsibility to move in and curb and weed out some of these things. That will make it sanitized.
There's so much pressure from the technical side to take a break, but let's get the interventions before we do that.
Let's quickly, for the purpose of education and without prejudice.
In fact, Abu at my journal line says, ask Party whether the purpose of good conduct, even if the office is to give the office holder such goodies, shouldn't they reflect it like Mills did? So it's about higher standards where she is, isn't it?
And I'm saying that.
Okay, abusia winning and some so our political highway. So a year Thaddeus sorry and a desa and 70 be betu ja HSA a year and paying for so a desa and 70 be to your much as a process in the day and I'm now quemuna and noa and a HSA former a as a president Mahama and a committee no on my na Mahama Kasa Mahama kwanya President Mahama ena eyi no efri constitution na ena echese eyi ma me bada masesa mo je pene kokuti sa in some way the MI aha Ghana politics avenue so medamase